I want you to look at this background I did with this pencil previously. Okay, I'm going to do something similar with this background, but I already have my palette where I've mixed my ochres, raw sienna, purples. I've got some black and some burnt umber and lots of white. So really what I'm going to do is just pull previous colors that I have and just add it to white. I basically just want this background to look white, but it's a little creamier, and I just have to be really, really careful the closer I get to my pencil that I'm not being fast and sloppy and then accidentally getting into this pencil area. So see how I'm just adding the white, but I'm also just putting that white on top of some of the lighter yellow that I've mixed. And it's lots of layers. And some people are like, well, just leave the canvas white. You really don't ever leave the canvas just white. Or at least I don't. It looks better to have every part of a painting painted, even if I don't want it to stand out. And I am going to need more white. Kevin, can you hand me? And notice how I'm not just painting straight up and down. I like the idea with the background, thank you, to have, even though it's so pale and you might not see it, it's there, the different directions of the paint strokes. It's kind of nice to see that. So what I'm going to do when I get close to the pencil, I've added a little bit of water to thin it down. And I'm going to use a smaller paintbrush and really slow down. And I'm just working it back and forth. And I'm going probably faster than I would want my students to go. Now at this point when I'm edging this, if I see pencil, I want to cover that up. That's funny because I'm painting a pencil. But my pencil marks, I can see some pencil marks on the edge. And I could have erased that before I started painting this background too. With the kneaded eraser, that would have been a good idea. Since I'm already doing the background, or I'm sorry, the edge, I'm just going to flip this over and do all my edges right now. And I got some on the pencil where I didn't want it, so I can wipe that off with my finger while it's wet. Most of the time that will work. And sometimes some colors that you're using, when you edge it and you're covering up something, that dark back color, you know, from the pencil might show through. You might have to do a couple different layers, and that's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this bigger paintbrush. Same thing on this side. I'm going to grab a little more white paint because I'm getting low. And I'm just using the Winsor Newton. This white paint is nice and thick for a background like this. It works good. Oh, everyone in here, your papers are by the Clorox wipe over there behind Kevin, if you want to start on your mini project. And because I'm using this oil and acrylic canvas paper, it's already been treated with gesso, so I don't have to do anything to the paper. Dang, they're out of white again. Let me grab some more. I'm trying to be conservative. Okay, now the thing I want with the background, what I like to do is I don't want it to look like one flat color. So I want to make sure there's changes with the where it gets light, and so I might just go back through and add some white areas, not evenly everywhere, because then I've created that same issue where it's all even. So I like that we have some kind of messy areas in that background, and then I like that it comes off the page. I never want it to look like a spot in the middle of the page. Okay, now the last thing I need to do is just create a cast shadow. And the cast shadow in the picture I'm looking at is more gray, so is the background, but I'm going to warm mine up a bit. And so I'm going to cast shadow just using very similar colors we've used. I have some of this brown gray right here, and I want to warm it up a little bit, so I'm adding a little ochre, and I'm going to see how that looks. But I don't want it to be so close to the colors I've used that it matches exact, so I have to be careful to make it gray enough. So this is a warm gray because I've added some yellow and some brown. Okay, so I'm looking and I've got my cast shadow. See, that's very close to that side, so I probably need to cool this off a little bit with some more black. And even some purple, because it's its complement. And I added too much purple, so let's fix that real quick. Okay, that should be a good, let's see. And I'm lightening it up just a bit. Because my highlight's on this side, my shadow would be on this side, right? And I am lightening this up just because I've got this dark contrast that's nice on this side with the metal, and I don't want to lose that edge looking like it does, so I just lightened it enough that it's not so dark the same value. It's close. Okay, now I'm going to take my bigger brush, pick up some of this color. And I just went back to some of this original off-white that I'm using in the background and softening that edge. Just because the shadows are never, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes they're really sharp, but in this instant it's just kind of a soft edge here. And I'm going to drag some of this down below slightly. Okay, we're done. Voila! Oh.